Heathers.
Heathers is a film starring Winona Ryder and Christian Slater. Shannon Doherty in the movie? She's like not the right age to be in a movie with Winona Ryder. Yes, she is. No, she's not. Yes, she is. No, she's not. Might be her. And some other girl who has blonde hair. Is that right? There might be another one. I feel like there's 3. God. Girls. And then Winona Ryder comes into play. Bunch of bitches named Heather is the point. There's a main one. And then I think 2 henchmen. And then Winona Ryder's there. It's a Mean Girls show, and so I can't remember exactly what happens in it, except that I think Winona Ryder is like a nerd, and then they make her cool. She gets cool. Is this the Burn Book, or is that Mean Girls? Farts, that's Mean Girls, isn't it? They're terrible people is the point of this. God, they do worse stuff than like Mean Girls does, because Mean Girls I think is like Burn Booky and stuff, but this is like actually terrible. Like physically hurting people. Oh my god, I don't remember. Winona Ryder is out to get them because they got her somehow. The Heathers girls. Is her name Heather? They write in a book, don't they? They write letters. She writes letters to people. Does she kill people and then they pretend? Her and Christian Slater kill a girl, a blonde-haired one, by giving her Drano kind of shit, and then they write a letter, forge it, and pretend like she killed herself. And then I think they maybe do it again, and I think like he killed his dad. Maybe it's a killing show, and bitches be killing themselves, or they be killing people. He's new at the school, and she's into him, and they make fun of her for being into him. I think there's a red bow that the leader wears, and then when the leader dies, Winona Ryder wears the red bow, and it's like now that's a significant thing that she's the leader. And then she's in charge of all of that, and shit ends up going south with her and Christian Slater because they're like into each other, but then he gets crazier than her. He like steps up the crazy game, but I kind of think it was him the whole time, or was it her the whole time? They do kill somebody else. Somebody they kill, the main one, maybe onto, push her onto like a glass table. I can picture that happening. Do him and her get into a fight? I don't know, girl, but I think they kill people. And then at some point, there is a pep rally at the gym. Oh, the school. There's a school teacher who is like, we're all going to talk about suicide. Because I think it's like the copycat suiciding happening. They have some kind of assembly to talk about suicide that's highly publicized. And one of the Heathers is there like, how me, something it's about me. But they didn't even... She writes a lot of letters, I think. And you hear her talking in her voice, in her Winona Ryder voice. Heather, this thing happened and whatever. And Christian Slater's like, I have something to say about society and why it's so messed up, and this is why I'm cool, because I'm Christian Slater and I talk about stuff with my loose clothes. And they have like big shoulder pads, the girls do. Anyway, he's new and mysterious. She's into him. They think he's a loser. Does he like try to kill somebody in the cafeteria? And she's like, ooh, that's hot. Let me go with that, killer. Something like that happens, I think. And he like maybe knows about philosophy or like poetry or some kind of like hot boy, mysterious, smart stuff. He's not like a regular boy who's like a jock or whatever. He like knows about life or something because he's a killer. Anyway, then they have this pep rally in the gym, and she figures out that he is gonna blow up the whole school, and he has like dynamite sticks or something very weird. It's like a little Western cartoon where he's sticking dynamite sticks on things. Or does he actually have like plastic explosives? He probably made it in his freaking garage. I don't know what he did, but somehow he has bombs, and he puts them around, and he has like a big bomb in the basement, like in the boiler room or something. And then I think he's also wearing a bomb, and I think she ends up having to fight with him physically in the boiler room, and then he traps her down there maybe and sets the timer, and the bomb is going to go off. And then somehow she gets out, but also she doesn't. I think she might blow up. I think this school fucking blows up. And she's in it. And he walks out like smoking a cigarette. And then she comes out and she's like blown up. like in a cartoon, like Wile E. fucking Coyote. Like her face is black and her hair's like pfft, and her clothes are disheveled with like holes in them. And she's like zombieing out. And says something fucked up to him. Does she stab him? I think she might kill him, and she's the only one alive at the end. She's the last girl, or whatever that's called.
Final girl.
Final girl. I think that might happen, and then she probably writes a letter about it and dictates whatever, reads that out loud. Is that dictating? No. Reads the letter out loud, and that's the end. They're like on the steps of the high school when that happens. I think she kills him. I would recommend it. It's fucking super weird, and I think it's from the 80s, like late 80s. Probably. It's like the OG Mean Girls with killing. And then like in the 90s they got like, it's not really that serious, you guys. We're just gonna bully people. No more killing.
The 90s made Mean Girls?
Yeah. Why is the 90s is Mean Girls not from the 90s? It totally is. Oh, wait, Mean Girls is older. Mean Girls is from the 1000s, isn't it? Sharks. I don't know when Mean Girls is from. It's not as old as Heathers, is the point.
No, but there's a movie in between there that gets lumped in with them.
I mean, I always put Clueless in there.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? That's from the 90s, certainly. Mm-hmm. But then Mean Girls is after that. Mm-hmm. Is that not also from the 90s? Early 1000s, isn't it? Maybe. Because Clueless is from the end. Oh, Clueless is from like 1990. Oh, Alicia Silverstone. When were you cool in my life? 14. So, whenever I was 14. But that's when Alicia Silverstone was in a phase where she was like in an Aerosmith video. It was at the same time period that Clueless came out. I'm pretty sure she was not famous for very long. I don't know why we're talking about this now. Now we're talking about Clueless, but I think Clueless is from 1990. When I was 14, whatever that is. Do that math. Oh, yeah. Christian Slater, Winona Ryder, it's worth it. It's good times.